Right, let me introduce the lesson database. Actually, most of the O-level, most of the time, you get O-level question, one essay question from this area, and you will get some MCQ questions too. For sure, you will get a question from this area. This time also, you will get one question from here. Therefore, this lesson is critical, but the beginning, the starting or the 9.1 is basically the concept theory part. So it will be a bit boring, but anyway, we have to learn about the theory part before we begin. Right. Okay. So let's start. And before I start, I would like to prepare the background. So I need to know about few things. Can you remember what is data? Can you remember what is data? Can anyone tell what are the data? Data and information. What's the difference between data and information?
Data is raw fact.
Yes, data are raw facts. Correct. Data are raw facts. Raw facts about something, someone, or some concept. කෙනෙක් දෙයක් හෝ සංකල්පයක් ගැන මූලික දේවල්. Raw facts about something, someone, or some concept we call data. Information.
Processed data.
Exactly. Information means processed data or meaningful data. Data are raw facts about something, someone, or some concept, whereas information is processed data or meaningful data. So we call that information. For data, information, you should know the difference. Okay, which is more valuable? Is it data or information?
Information.
Yes, information is more valuable. Which is having a time value. That means time to time the value is changing. So maybe when you create this, it will the value will be high. With the time, the value will diminish or value will be low. So which is change, which is having the time value? Data or information?
Information.
Yes, information is having time value. Information is valuable and information is having time value too. Time value means information has its highest value in the creation time. Information හදන වෙලාවේ තමයි ඒකේ වැඩිම value එක තියෙන්නේ. With the time it will diminish. Think about the World Cup win කරන වෙලාවේ තමයි වැඩිම value එක. ඒක හිමීට අඩු වෙලා ගිහිල්ලා දැන් ඒක normal. Election එකක් නම් ඒක win කරන වෙලාවේ තමයි වැඩිම value. දැන් මතක නේද පහුගිය දවස්වලත් election එකක් win කරනකොට කට්ටිය තාප්පවල ගිහිල්ලා චිත්‍ර අඳිනවා, පාට කරනවා, සුද්ධ කරනවා. දැන් එහෙම කරනවද කවුරු? දැන් ඇඳපු චිත්‍ර හොයන්නත් නෑ, ඇඳපු කට්ටිය හොයන්න. So that is the nature. So basically, the highest value is there in the initial time. ඒක create කරන වෙලාවේ තමයි value එක වැඩිම, කාලයත් එක්ක value එක නැත්තරම නැති වෙලා යන එක information වල ස්වභාවය. එතකොට data වල එහෙම නැහැ. Like think about red color 100 years ago. අවුරුදු 100කට කලින් red color එක. Then red color එක. තව අවුරුදු 100ක් ඉදිරියේදී අනාගතයේ red color එක. It's having same value නේද? අය රතු පාට කියලා වටිනාකම වැඩි වෙන්නේත් නැහැ, අඩු වෙන්නේත් නැහැ, තිබ්බ ගානම තියෙනවා. එහෙමම තියෙනවා. So data having same value. So information is useful in decision making. It's valuable. And we call information is an action motivator too. Information කියන එක අපි කියන action motivator එකක් කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ ක්‍රියාවක් කරන්න අපිව පොළඹවන. Let's think like that. දැන් අපිට information එකක් කියන ඉදිරි සතියේ එක දිගට වහිනවා කියලා කියනවා. එතකොට අපි තීරණය කරනවා එහෙනම් මේ සතිය අපි මේ trip ගිහිල්ලා වැඩක් නැහැ. මේ සතිය අපි මොන හරි matches plan කරනවා. ඒ plan කරලා වැඩක් නැහැ. මොකද වහින්න යන්නේ දිගට. ඉඳ වැඩක් නැහැ. Likewise, we can take decisions based on information. Okay, let's write down about that first. So that is the background. හරි අපි ඉස්සෙල්ලාම background එක හදලා ඉන්න ඕන. මේව කතා කරන්න හරි. So let's write that note there. So please write down database as the heading. Database, sorry, what is that? Database as the heading. Then write down what is data. So as you said, data are raw facts about something, someone, or some concept. it has a lower value when compared with information. It is not much useful in decision making. It is not much useful in decision making. Not much useful in decision making. It is used to create information. It has a constant value over the time. It's not changing. So in other hands, what is information? You can write down that also. So please write down about information. One of the most valuable economic resource in the world. ලෝකේ තියෙන වටිනාම ආර්ථික සම්පත. So why is that? You know, the richest people in the world are directly related to information and information technology. Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and so you know, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, all are related to information technology. Why they are so rich? Because they are working with information and it has the highest value, even valuable than gold, even valuable than gems. So it's a really valuable resource in the world. Information has a time value. And it has the highest value at the creation time. With the time, the value will be diminishing. Diminishing to 0 or diminishing to lower value. This is called the golden rule of information. This is called the golden rule of the information. The diminishing thing is called that. Information is useful in decision making, and it is an action motivator. That is about the information. Okay, so then what is the database? Database. It is a structure used to systematically store data and information. It is a structure used to systematically store data and information, to process and manipulate data and information in the database. We use database management systems. It's called DBMS. To process and manipulate data and information in a database, we use database management systems, or we call DBMS. So please write down this and let me know once you're done. Here, the database concept. Actually, database can be manual or electronic. So that is the first thing that you should know. So for an example, in order to organize our contacts, earlier days, I can remember my father, he was using these contact organizers or contact books. So actually it was possible to purchase this, right? It was possible to purchase this from shop. ඉස්සර තිබ්බ telephone numbers ලියන පොත්. එහෙම තිබ්බ වෙනම ගන්න. To save the contact, to write the contact, we had books. And we had a season like we had autographs to save the memories. So unlike Facebook, we have autograph to save our memories. And we were using, like in our earlier era, we were using contact book to write down the contacts. There is a manual. But there are some difficulties, like it's difficult to write, difficult to maintain, and difficult to copy paste, difficult to take backups. And in case actually we have to physically move that, we have to store that physically. Those are problems in that manual system. But now you have mobile phone. Mobile phone itself is a contact organizer. You can save the contacts in mobile phone, in your SIM card. In your mobile phone, you can save the contact. You can easily copy. You can easily send this to someone. Copy paste. You can easily take backups. So these are the advantages of electronic systems. Okay, both kind of still we have the manual and electronic both, right? So but the advantages of both manual and electronic are, it is efficient. We can find something, we can take copies. Electronics actually can be copied very easy, and it takes small space to store, and electronic will take very small space. And you can analyze data. I'm not sure whether you know that if you are using SLT connection, SLT is giving a kind of a book which has contacts, SLT directory. I think you know about that, right? SLT directory, maybe sometimes in your home you have a SLT directory. I don't know whether that is manually there, but earlier days it was manually there, SLT directory. It was manually there, right? But now I think it's like electronic format. And this was the book, SLT Rainbow Pages, and this was the book which was given in earlier days. තාමත් මේක දෙනවද නම් දන්නේ මම දැක්කේ නෑ ළඟදී. ඉස්සර හර හැම ගෙදරකටම මේක දෙනවා ඒගොල්ලෝ. So it has all the contacts, SLT contacts from A to Z. Right? So, and I can remember that actually one of my students, he has created SLT reverse directory using that. So directory එකෙන් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් නම හොයලා නමේ contact එක දාගන්න පුළුවන්. The reverse directory එකෙන් contact එක දීලා contact එකට අදාළ නම ගන්න. SLT reverse directory. Like you can use the contact and find. So it's similar to Truecaller. Truecaller වලත් පුළුවන් contact number එක දීලා කාටද ඒක අයිති කියලා හොයාගන්න. Right? That is a reverse directory, right? Truecaller, I think if you know that. If you got unknown call, you can just type your here. If you get unknown call, you can type, for an example, let's say my number. You can just search it. And you can find out whether it belongs to someone. Basically, it asks you to sign it using Google. That is secure, don't worry. You can sign it using your Google account. I'm using my Google account to sign in. And let's see. And let me type the numbers 719. Okay, so then it's okay here. It's giving the details. So similar to that, if you have any number, let's say 71, some other number, you can just see whether it's belong to someone else. Is it recorded there? But this is not complete, right? This is not complete, but because every number is not there. Some numbers are there, not everything. Some numbers are there in this. So 74. Okay, here you can see some numbers. So it's there, so but not everything. Okay, then so let's go back to the advantages of database. It's small, you can take copies, you can easily share data analytics, and you can analyze the data in it, and independence. So data in the databases are independent. Independent means, right? Okay, it can work with different applications. Okay, so for an example, database in data. One example is your internet package. Who maintain data related to your internet package? Internet package එකට අදාළ data කාගේ ළඟද තියෙන්නේ වගේ? Who maintains that? Yes. ඔයගොල්ලෝ internet package එකක් ගන්නවා. Think that you buy internet package. You are using Dialog or SLT or whatever internet connection. Who has data? ඒකේ data කාගේ ළඟද තියෙන්නේ? කොච්චර use කරලා තියෙනවද? කොච්චර තියෙනවනේ නේද? ඕක ගත්තම තියෙනවනේ පුතේ. connection එකේ night time data කොච්චර තියෙනවද? ඒවා කාගේ ළඟද maintain වෙන්නේ? Who maintains that? Hello? Lashen, yes? Who maintains? Timasha? Lavanya, කවුද ඒවා maintain කරන්නේ පුතේ? දැන් ඔයාලට data package එකක් ඔයාලා ගන්නවා. ඒ data package එකේ ඔයාලා කොච්චර data පාවිච්චි කරලා තියෙනවද කියන එක කවුද maintain කරන්නේ? Is it you or your internet service provider?
Internet service provider.
It's your internet service provider. It's your internet service provider. Your internet service provider is maintaining that. Right? So let's say your data is over. Let's say your data connection is over and you decided to top up. You decided to buy some data using your mobile phone. And assume that you are using your connection in your laptop, in your desktop and mobile phone. අපි හිතමු තුනක් තියෙනවා. ඔයාලට connection තුනක් තියෙනවා. මම මෙතන ඇඳලා පෙන්නන්නම්. To make it more clear, you have your mobile phone, you have your laptop, and you have your desktop. You have 3 computers in your home: mobile phone, laptop, and desktop. And all 3 are connected to මේ තුනම connect වෙලා තියෙන්නේ Wi-Fi වලින් හරි මොනවාගෙන් හරි කමන්නේ. So let's say this is connected to your router. This router is belongs, let's assume, උදාහරණයක් විදිහට කියන්නේ SLT ට අපි හිතමු මේක අයිති SLT ට. And you know that your data package is maintained by SLT. Right? SLT is connected to the internet. That this is how you access internet in your area. Okay, let's say your data connection is over. You decide to renew it, or you decide to buy some extra GB using your mobile phone. Extra GB or phone එකෙන් ගන්නවා. Can laptop and desktop use that extra GB? Laptop එකටයි desktop එකටයි පුළුවන් ද extra GB use කරන්න phone එකෙන් ගත්තම? Can. SLT ළඟ ඉන්නවල ගන්න. ඒතර SLT ළඟේ database එක මොකද වෙන්නේ? SLT will update its database telling okay, this user is having, SLT is updating their database telling this user is now having 5 GB extra. That 5 GB extra, or this is example, right? Only an example. So let's say you are requesting extra 5 GB. That will be added. So once this 5 GB added, it will be shared to your computer, laptop, mobile phone, everything. So actually, so let's say after that you decide your mobile phone is broken. Your mobile phone is broken, or it is totally reset. Mobile phone එක reset කරනවා නැත්නම් කැඩෙනවා මොනවා හරි වෙනවා. The mobile phone එක නැහැ. Will this be affected or it will remain same? It will remain same. ඔයාගේ mobile phone එකේ application ඔයා Mac වත් format කරත් මොනවා කරත් මොකද මෙතන ඔයා extra GB වලට අදාළ database එකත් එක්ක තමයි ඔයා වැඩ කරේ. You work with the database. Right? Though database and software are connected. Here you use software, here you use database, you have connected. So database and software connected. But you delete the software. That won't affect, you delete or you vanish. The software is not there, but it won't affect the database. So that is called independence of data. Understood? Right? That means whatever you do to your mobile phone or to your laptop, your desktop won't affect your database in SLT. SLT has all. And what කියන්න බෑ මම mobile phone එක format කරලා මම SLT වලට කියනවා මම මේ පාවිච්චි කරේ නෑ data බලන්න මොකුත් නෑ කියලා වෙන්න. You can't do like that because SLT has their database. They are maintaining that. That is independent from your device and your software. So that's what. Right. This is efficient, easy to copy, easy to like smaller physical space it will take and easy to move. And you can analyze, compare things easily. You can share the data and it is independent too. So these are the advantages of having databases. Okay, under the features of databases, the first thing is minimal data redundancy. Redundancy means repeating. Redundancy කියලා කියන්නේ repeat වෙන එක. Data repeat වෙන එක. හරි. Then here you can see they have given example. So what they are telling here, they are saying Firoza Lai has changed to Firoza Rafiq. Okay, they want to change data in this database. Firoza Lai කියලා තියෙන එකක් එයාට වෙනස් කරන්න ඕනද? They want to change the Firoza Lai as Firoza Rafiq. And this is your, these are actually there are two tables. 9.1 admission table and 9.2 library table. Admission table is having your registration details, right? Your admission or the registration date. Library table is having your book borrowings, books and book borrowings, right? When you borrowed books, when you return that, when you have to return, what kind of books that you borrowed and what is your name, all these things. And you can see Firoza Lai name is there 1 time, 2 time, and 3 time. If you want to change her name, how many records do you need to update? How many places do you need to update that? You have to update all 3, right? 1, 2, 3 places, right? Agree or not? If you want to change this, then the Firoza Lai කියන එක change කරන්න ඕනද Firoza Rafiq කියලා. එතකොට දැන් කීයක් update කරන්න වෙනවද කියලා අහන්නේ. දැන් 3ක් අපිට update කරන්න වෙනවා මේක විදිහට. Is it good or bad? What do you think? You have to update 3 places. Is it good or bad?
Bad.
Why? Why
You
bad?
have to change the all places.
Yes, you have to change the all places. If you have to change all places, that is not good. Why? Because, so let's assume you miss something. අපි හිත මෙහෙම තැන් 100ක අප්ඩේට් කරන්න තියෙනවා කියලා. දැන් 99කම අප්ඩේට් කරලා you updated 99 places. It is also effort, not effortless. It is, you have to put some effort. But after updating, you miss one place. That is also a problem. අර අපි හිත මෙහෙම certificates වල ගොඩාක් තියෙනවා. මේ certificates ඔක්කොගෙම නම් හරි. හැබැයි එකක විතර නමේ එක අකුරක් අඩුයි. That is a problem. එතන consistency issue එකක් එනවා මේක හරියට update කරගන්න බැරි වුණොත් ඒක තමයි ඊළඟ ප්‍රශ්නේ. The first problem is data redundancy. That means the same data is recorded, same data item or same data set is recorded in different places. Then in case of updation, in the case of deletion, the work is repetitive. There is unnecessary trouble. But you can make it simple, right? How to make it simple? So without updating multiple tables, you can link it. So that is called relational database, right? You can link them. So linking is called relational database. Like you have 100, 101. 100 is Manoj and 101 is Firoza. And here you can see Manoj bought 3333. 3333 is drama book and actually lended. Here's Manoj lended another book that is 3333, that is drama book again. And Firoza has lended 2222, which is folk songs, Firoza hand rendered 1111, which is basic maths concepts. Now, if you want to update Firoza's name, you have to update here only one place. And all these tables will know that is 101, same Firoza here, same Firoza here. So you have to update only one record. Since it is linked to the other tables, all other tables will automatically updated or will automatically link to this, and they know the name update. And therefore, this remain consistent. ඒ හින්දාම මේක consistent නියත විදිහට තියෙනවා. තැන වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද එක තැනක විතරනේ අප්ඩේට් කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට ඉතින් එතන වෙනස් වුණොත් හැමතැනම වෙනස් වෙනවා. එතන අප්ඩේට් වුණොත් හැමතැනම අප්ඩේට් වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම එතන වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැතුව තිබුණොත් ඒ හින්දා එක තැනක විතරයි. So we call consistency of data. Okay, let's write down this too. So let's write down this too. Features of database. Features of a database. Feature number 1, minimum redundancy. Minimum redundancy. It's given as minimal data redundancy. Please write down that. Minimal data redundancy. When the data stored is manual or non-relational, we need to store the same data in different places. In case of updation, in case of update or delete, we need to delete, we need to update all the records in all the places in similar way, or delete all the records in all the tables, all the places in similar way. That is an unnecessary burden. That is unnecessary burden. If updation or if updating or deleting is not properly applied everywhere, then inconsistencies may occur. That is also affecting validity of data. Relational databases are having linked tables, and it minimizes these issues. It minimizes these issues. Relational databases are having interlinked tables, and it minimizes these issues. So please write down this. The second thing is inconsistency. Consistency. same data item in different places must be same. Reducing redundancy will also increase the will also increase consistency, since minimum number of repetitive data is maintained. So decreased redundancy will increase the consistency. Let me know once you're done. We learn about two concepts. Redundancy should be reduced. Consistency should be increased. Consistency means like uniqueness, right? So different places having different records is inconsistent. Consistency means by minimizing data redundancy, the same data being saved in various tables can be reduced and prevent this. Enables maintenance of the consistency. Consistency means same data, different places, you can't keep in different formats or different values. So then it is inconsistent. එකම නම මම අර කිව්වේ certificate එකක ඔයාලගේ certificate 10ක තියෙන එක නම 11 වෙනි certificate එකේ නම වෙනස්. එහෙම වෙන්න බෑ. So that is inconsistent. And increase efficiency. So we learned that increase efficiency means it will be faster, right? Because if it is redundant, you have to update multiple records. තැන තැන තියෙන හැම එකම හොයලා update කරන්න ඕන. Redundant. එහෙම නැත්නම් එක තැනක වගේ තිබ්බම ඒක less. එක තැනයි ඒක efficient, faster. And it is accurate too. It's faster and accurate too. And it is valid. So we discuss about the validity. When you increase the efficiency and increase the minimize the redundancy and integrity, increase the integrity, then the validity will also be high. Validity means like, so what kind of data you can put and what are the values that you can put. So that need to be considered. So that is also a feature of database. So increased efficiency. So you should know what are the features, other features. Efficiency and accuracy, increase validity. Please write down that also, but no need to write notes on that. So the other features, so of database, like this third one, efficient and validity and accuracy and ability to back up and ability to share are some other features. You can share with different applications. You can share and make centralized. So these are some other features of their databases. So you can write down that as well. Okay, now after writing this, we have something else need to be addressed. Actually, please finish this quickly, then I'll explain this. That is about this security. Security is also a feature. To ensure the security, we are using encryption. So what is encryption? We have to learn about that too. Finish writing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then the 8th feature is encryption. Actually, security, a mechanism is encryption. Actually, security is ensured using encryption and access control. Okay, we should know what is encryption. We should know what is encryption and how encryption provides the security. To explain that, I would like to use small story. Okay, have you heard about Julius Caesar? So who is Julius Caesar?
A king in Rome.
One of the Roman empires.
Is one of emperors. So he was like so well known for the past war, right? It's like one like century ago. So, but he had some issues related to war. Actually, he was good in war, is an emperor, and he wanted to like capture some regions. So the main issue that he was facing is disclosure of his secret messages. At Julius Caesar, he was like, he has army, he has a big army. He was sending commands to different regions using his messengers, basically soldiers. But what has happened, the enemy soldiers, they were hidden in some parts, in some routes, and they captured these messengers and they tried to read the message which was there with the messenger. The messenger අරන් යනවා පණිවිඩකාරයා පණිවිඩයක් අරන් යනවා. ජූලියස් සීසර්ගේ පණිවිඩකාරයා එයා පණිවිඩයක් අරගෙන යද්දී මේ මග රැකගෙන මග හැංගිලා ඉන්න මේ මෙයාලා මොකද කරේ? So this other, the enemy soldiers, this is Caesar's soldier. He's going with some message. He's like moving with some message. So let's say he's going with some message, and let me highlight the message in yellow color. So when he's moving with the message, the enemies who were hidden in the forest and all other places, maybe in the route, they try to capture, because he's going alone, right? He's going alone, maybe one or two, because for messaging purpose, you can't send an army. ආමි එකක් යවන්න බෑනේ, තනි මැසේජ් එකක් යවන්න. ඒතර මෙයාලගේ ඉන්න වෙන පැත්තක ඉන්න ටීම් එකට මේ මැසෙන්ජර් කරා යවන්න. ඒතර අරගොල්ල කරන්නේ, they were capturing this soldier and reading the message. Then by doing that, actually they understood the war strategies used by Julius Caesar. Actually, this was headache to the Caesar person. Caesar thought, so we should avoid that, because this is headache. All these soldiers are captured and messages are read. So then the plans plan ටික වතුරේ. මොකද දැනගන්න ඕනේ මොකද්ද කරන්න කියලා. So what Julius Caesar was thinking, so what we can do? Okay, let's send the message the same way, but let's encrypt it. Let's encrypt it means like a message is kind of the letters, words, there is jumbled, mixed up or changed, altered. Then, so again, so these enemies in the middle, they captured and tried to read the message, but message was unreadable. Even the messenger couldn't read the message. So they were trying to get the message from the messenger by maybe like lean and giving various punishments, but it was not possible. Even the messenger cannot read the message. Only the Caesar and the receiver, only the Caesar sending party and the receiver knows how to decrypt that or how to read the message. So this is called Caesar cipher. This technique that he has used is called Caesar cipher. Right, Caesar cipher. What Caesar were doing, Caesar just represented one letter using some other letter. For an example, A is represented using D, B is using E, C is using F. Likewise, one letter is represented using some other letter. එක letter එකක් වෙනකොට එයා වෙන letter එකක් පාවිච්චි කරන්න පටන් ගත්තා. දැන් hello කියලා ලියන්න අපි HELLO කියලා ලියනවා නම් Caesar wrote that using some different set of letters. Right? So this is another example. So here the original letter and the map letter. Right? You can see O, P, Q, R. You have original and map into some other letter. So Caesar has converted his letters or his secret letters is in this format. So which is called an encrypted format. Right? Let's go to this and see here. We have planned a special attack tomorrow. So this is called encryption, right? Encryption. What is encryption? Converting a plain text to ciphertext. Plain text means readable, insecure text. A readable, insecure text. Ciphertext means unreadable, secure text. Readable, insecure text. Ciphertext means unreadable, secure text. But actually here we have planned special attack tomorrow. So let's represent this using some other letter. W වෙනුවට X, E වෙනුවට F, H වෙනුවට I, HI නේ, AB, ඊළඟට V වෙනුවට W, E වෙනුවට F. Likewise, if you start writing like this, you can see now this is the original message. This is encrypted message. Encrypted message means the message you cannot read directly. එකපාර මේක දැකපැටි මේක කියව ගන්න අමාරුයි. Right? මේක දැකපැටි මේක කියව ගන්න අමාරුයි. That is the nature. So that is what Julius Caesar was using. මම මේ භාගයට විතර භාගයක් convert කරේ හරි. The readable text is converted to unreadable encrypted text. Okay. So please write down this encryption. A readable and meaningful text or message this can even be a binary message in computing world. This can even be a binary message means can be image even. A readable or meaningful text message. Binary message ke liye okay. Binary message like image, video. In computing world, it can be a binary message too, right? Is converted to secure, unreadable message called ciphertext. A secure, unreadable message called ciphertext. This ciphertext can be converted back to the readable plain text by using an decryption algorithm. The algorithm is a secret to senders and receivers, so that the intermediate cannot find the message. not actually find the message, cannot read the message, even they found it. They cannot read the message, even they found, cannot be read. Okay, one more example, you can see HTTP is called Hypertext Transfer Protocol. HTTPS is Hypertext Transfer Protocol secure version. So actually this HTTPS is used in encryption. I'll show you, right? I'll show you. Okay, another thing, small thing. I have converted this to this. This is a plain text. And this is a ciphertext. And you are the attacker. You are the attacker and you are the enemy to the Julius Caesar, maybe. And the attacker. Okay, try to find the algorithm. Try to find the, I have converted this text to this. Maybe convert. Can you try to find the algorithm? How I have done that? So just give a try. I'll give you some minutes. Just give a try. Try to find what is the algorithm that I have used. Make plain text make ciphertext try to decrypt. Then ඔයාලා මේක දැක්කම දන්නවා මේක තමයි මෙතන තියෙන්නේ කියලා. එහෙම නැතුව මේක විතරක් ඔයාලට තිබ්බ කියලා හිතන්නකෝ. If you got only this, then how can you generate this message? Try to find out that. Okay, you can write down from here to here. Here to here you can write down. But try to convert this. I'll give you 5 minutes. I have done very simple thing and you can also do this with me. We have planned a special attack tomorrow. We, it was a space H A Pahapaliana, right? We have H A V E. We have space plan P L ANNED. We have planned. It was I space space SPECIAL again space ATTAK, that is attack. Yes, CK space TOMORW. Okay, so then you can see there's a small mistake. This is what it should come, right? Okay, then I wrote like this. This is another method, just showing what has happened. This is another method and you can see how it is now converted to a different message. That's why, so like it's not properly coming. But what I have done, it was a hard rating. So this is called block cipher. Don't worry, you don't have this in the examination, but just something. So this is called block cipher. You write down words and then merge horizontally. So that technique is called block cipher. But better you know that. Okay, so let's learn, right? Let's learn how we can create relational database. Okay, please write down the heading. This is the last topic for today. Creating relational databases. How a relational database can be created. Next day, we can start doing the practical. Well, let's go to the book and see. So when you want to create a relational database, actually, so these are some like comparison, the manual database and the electronic data. We know that how it happens, right? Efficiency, accuracy, credibility, or the reliability, easy to analyze data and can change the data input order, easy to delete, easy to update, and it is very small space, less manpower is needed, and also you can add some more points to same thing, easy to backup, easy to share and communicate. Easy to backup, please write down to the electronic side, easy to share, easy to communicate. So these are some other features related to relational databases. Please write down this part also. So what are the features of databases? Electronic databases. Okay, now let's learn how a relational database is created. So let's move to the next one. Easy to backup, easy to share, easy to communicate. So these are some additional things. So let's move to the next one, Pute. How the relational database is created, we call these. So these vertical things we call field. Another name for this you can call as a field, or you can say column. Field or column. And records, the other name is row. Record or rows. You have fields or columns, records or rows. This structure is called table, that you know. Actually, how this relational database is created. So this is field and related set of data. A field name, related set of data. Together we call a field. Field name and related set of data. Again, I highlight karne. Field name is this one. Field name ekata galapena data. Field name and related set of data. Together we call this a field or column. Dekam ekatu කරලා අපි ගත්තාම column එකක් field එකක් කියලා කියන. Field name and related set of data. එතන ඒ වගේ data items මේ field වලට අදාළ data items එකතු වුණාම අපි එකට කියනවා record එකක් කියලා. Horizontally a set of related fields we call a record. The set of related data items will create a field. It has a field name, and set of related fields will create a record. And that set of related records will create a table, and those tables interlinked, linked tables will create a relational database. Okay, that is the story. Okay, let's summarize and write this in your note. A set of related data items will create a field which is recognized by using the field name. A set of related field will create a record. A set of related fields will create a record. A set of related records will create a table or relation. A set of interlinked and related relations or tables will create a relational database. And this is how a database is created. a set of related data items. The data item එකතු වෙලා තමයි fields හැදෙන්නේ. ඒ field එකට නමක් තියෙනවා. ඒ fields එකතු වෙලා හැදෙනවා records. ඒ record එකතු වෙලා table එකක් නැත්නම් relation එකක් හැදෙනවා. ඒ relations link වෙලා හැදෙනවා relational database එකක්. So this is how a relational database is treated. It's very important here. Okay, I'll show you some examples after you write down this. Let me know after you finish. I'll show you some examples. Right. So you can see this is the make monada andura ganna pude student. So these things. So let's identify student number, name, date of birth, admission, date of admission. Your fields we call that fields. The fields වල තියෙන record තියෙනවා record එකක් හැදෙන්නේ field වල තියෙන values. This field values 100 Manoj Dayaratna, date of birth, and G Dayaratna. So together these field values are creating records. එතකොට එහෙම record ඒ වගේම record කීපයක් ඉන්නවනේ tables හැදෙන්න. Field names උයි ඒ records ටිකයි එකතු වුණාම තමයි table එකක් හැදෙන්නේ. And you can see the process is given here also, right? Actually, this is another table. This is biodata form. You can see admission number, but you don't write like this, right? Admission number. There may tunama samana and admission number tunama ekata liyanna. Related data items. There are field names, date of birth, gender, and student phone numbers. This is how you write. You create a table, and this is another one. So you can see the field names are in green color. So column is like field name plus the related data items is treated in a column. Record means the field values, related field values together we call a record. That is row also. Record is created in a row also. Okay, how these tables are created? How these table links are built? That is by using something called key. So think about 101. So what is 101? 101 represents Firoza. 101 is the key to identify Firoza. Wherever you see 101, you know this is Firoza. Here 101 is Firoza. 101 Firoza. You call primary key to this identifier. So any table, any of these relational database tables will have this primary key. Primary key is the unique identifier which is used to identify the row. For an example, you. So we can identify, so your school can identify you using the registration number or admission number. Admission number. If teacher or principal knows the admission number, then it is possible to identify the student. Admission number. All the students are having the specialty is all the students are having admission number. Hamotama අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම admission number එකක් තියෙන. ඒක තමයි specialty. Admission number එකක් නැති student කෙනෙක් නැහැ. සියලුම students ලට admission number තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම all admission numbers are unique. ඒ තියෙන හැම admission number එකක්ම unique. හරි? Unique කියන්නේ ඒ admission number එක එක්කෙනාට තියෙන එකයි. ඒ admission number එක ආයේ වෙන කාටවත්ම නැහැ. It's unique and all are having that. That is the nature of primary key. Okay, what is primary key? Primary key is basically a unique identifier, a column which enable to identify a record uniquely. It's a unique identifier, and it is non-repetitive, no duplicates, and it should not be empty. It's mandatory. Here you can see accession number is the primary key. It's unique, non-repetitive. Here student number is the primary key. Here block number is the primary key. Student number, here the block number is the primary key. This table, student number, sorry, not block, book number. Student number, this table, book number. And this table, accession number. Right. Okay. Composite primary key. So when there is no unique primary key, තනි එක්කෙනෙක් නැත්තම් uniquely එක්කෙනෙක් දැන් මෙතන බලන්න year is repetitive නේද මේක repeat වෙනවා. එතකොට මෙයාව තනියෙන් primary key එකක් කරන්න බෑ. cricket ආයෙත් cricket ඇවිල්ලානේ. football again you have football. එතකොට එයාව primary key එකක් කරන්න බෑ. මේ වෙලාවට captain ව primary key එකක් කරන්න පුළුවන්ද බලන්න බෑ. ජාලිය මේ repeat වෙනවා. ජාලියත් දැන් දෙකක් නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ එයාව primary key එකක් කරන්න බෑ. vice captain නම් ඕකේ උනාට ඒක චර සාර්ථක නැහැ මොකද vice captain උනත් repeat වෙන්න පුළුවන් vice captain can also be repeated මෙතන අනිත් captain ඉන්න කෙනා vice captain ඒක හරියන්නේ නැහැ so it's not unique එතකොට මේ දෙකම ගත්තොත් 2013 cricket මේ cricket 2014 cricket then primary මේ දෙකක් ගත්තොත් primary දෙකක් එකට ගත්තොත් එතකොට primary එකක් හදා ගන්න පුළුවන් that is called composite primary key. So uniqueness is created. එතකොට unique එකක් හදාගන්නේ කොහොමද? දෙකක් එකතු කරලා 2013 cricket 2014 cricket 2013 football 13 volleyball 14 football 14 volleyball. Now you can see two keys together. දෙකක් එකතු කරලා you can create a unique key. So that is called a composite primary key. Okay, I think we have learned about the concepts. And one more concept that is about the foreign key. That I think we can discuss next day because we have to do an exercise. Actually, we have to start creating the tables and all next day. You need access to do this, right? You need access to do this. So please install Access in your computer. This is how it looks like. Please install Access in your computer by next day. We will do this practical and try to finish the lesson. So then we can start grade 11 stuff. Or if possible, so we can revise the difficult lessons if you have any. If not, we can actually shift to the grade 11 class after next week. Next week, I think we need only 2 weeks to finish this lesson. 1 week is not enough because there are a lot of practicals. So we'll take 2 weeks to finish the lesson. Okay, guys, then we'll see you all next week. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.